the veil in which we see from is changing and thinning, and we are being asked to do some deeper work.
Welcome to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, where world changing spiritual entrepreneurs come to deeply awaken the power within to bring forth their greatest purpose, while enjoying being in tune with all life and real wealth in all aspects of their lives. I'm your host, Daniel John Hanneman. Welcome, everybody, to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast Show. We have another amazing show. Oh my God, ETs, light languages, all kinds of intergalactics, or I don't know, whatever. Galactic this. I don't know that much about it, although I do it another way, right? I'm just so excited for what's happening. And Amy, believe it or not, she's still becoming aware of this even more deeply. Man, it's time for us, to reveal the things that need to be revealed, right? It's the time and the place. And we also want to deepen into what's possible by, tuning into the Akashic Records and clearing those up. And so that you actually can start manifesting more of what you want, which is definitely right down Broadway for our guest today. So, Amy, it's really great to have you on the show today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to chat with you, Daniel.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share about Amy. So, Amy Robeson is a Master Akashic Records Teacher, light language master, and mentor who helps people tap into their most powerful inner potential to experience profound transformation and magic. She is passionate about exploring spiritual concepts and truths and encourages her students to get curious and stay curious. Oh boy. As the founder of Sacred Awakening, she has created a powerful Akashic Records program, allowing her students to receive answers in any area of life so they can live an empowered, aligned life. Amy is the perfect guide, breaking down complex spiritual concepts to meet her students where they are and helping them overcome roadblocks, outdated beliefs, and even trauma to achieve their highest good. So, yes, Amy, I have been kind of following you for a long time in your Facebook group, and I just always appreciate your energy and the little bits I've picked up on your lives and the recorded stuff. She's got such an amazing energy and such a heart, and she's really got like that real like pureness I want to say about you. So, and I'm really grateful that you're on the show today.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to chat with you and connect with you again.
So, yeah, and we are talking about, yeah, we met back in 2018, and I had a booth at this event we were at and stuff, and like it's just funny, like this happened with a client of mine. She has somebody on her team and team member. She's been working for years for her, and she just discovered that like she realized she interviewed her many years before that, like on a show that she had, and didn't even realize it. Neither one realized it. So it's just crazy all the people we meet and all the energies these days. So things are moving faster than ever before, everybody says, right? And things are shaking up. There's people having massive awakenings around the planet. And I just talked to another one the other day. She had a real nice business, online doing this type of work. Then she had the massive awakening and it had been out for a long time. But I provided a little guidance and scanning and whatnot for her. And but like just thinking about her, I just think like there's so many people like her, like people like that. People are just like didn't even believe in any of this stuff. It just, this has been happening for a long time, but I just think there's more happening, right? People are going on these psychedelic, whatever, the mushroom trips, the ayahuasca, all the different things that open people up, having massive experiences, so many different ways. And um, what's going on, from the higher perspective, from your perspective? I'd love to hear your answer. Yeah, what do you feel is unfolding here for humanity during these times? I want to start with the big picture, then we could go down from there. So,
Big picture is there's a big population that's waking up. There's a population that's staying asleep, and there's a population, and when they stay asleep, they're either in numbness or in some sort of imbalance. Doesn't mean everybody's out of balance, because some people that are not woo woo or not super spiritual, they can be awake without practicing spiritual practices. They're content in their life and they feel good about what they're doing. But the people that don't, that are numb or having different coping mechanisms, can feel off and not sure why. And then there's people that are choosing to leave, and how they're choosing to leave is totally up to their decisions or their indecision sometimes. And so part of I think that's interesting is the veil in which we see from is changing and thinning, and we are being asked to do some deeper work, and the people that want to do it will do it, and the people that don't won't, and how that impacts us is totally up to our own decisions. And also, it's really important that you know that you're not in charge of anybody else but yourself, unless you're a parent that needs to keep a child safe, but you're not in charge of anybody else, and that's it. You got to just take care of yourself, and everybody else will follow into suit where they're supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, given that, you're helping people in these awakenings, it's like, what are some of the what is a sacred? Is your founder a sacred awakening? I mean, what to you is sacred awakening?
For me, like being in my darkest place ever and not wanting to live anymore was super hard. And that is an awakening. You awaken to the one truths of who you are, not all the truths, because we go through many awakenings throughout our lifetime, but you start waking up to false identities and you realize, like, hey, that's not serving me anymore. And it feels like you're dying, because there are things that you have to let go of that are a part of your identity in order to make it through that. And sometimes that can feel really challenging because this is all you've ever known, depending on where you're at in your awakening process. And for me, I think that the awakening process can be, no matter which one you're in, I think it can still be messy, because we're not trying to take away the mess. It is messy, and sometimes everything has to crumble in order for it to become beautiful in the way it's meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I think that having support systems in place when you are going through identity crises, you're peeling back layers, you're healing shadows, you're recognizing, like, that's no longer true for me, but what is true for me? And like, so figuring out what your values and belief systems are as you're upgrading is really important. And so I think that having a sacred space to do that type of work is really important. And I'm not talking about a place that looks beautiful. It can look beautiful, but I'm talking about a place that you feel so safe to journey within, that it allows you to get the support that you require. And that means being willing to knock off some of the cobwebs in the deepest parts of your psyche and look at things that you have buried really deeply within yourself, and have community while doing that. Because I
Mm-hmm.
think that sometimes when we are going through massive awakenings, that the best thing to do is to be a part of a community, and a community can be one more person besides you.
Mm-hmm.
Having one or more people that you can talk through things that you're like, that I'm going through that. That's completely normal. And then we can normalize trauma responses. We can normalize the messiness of the human experience so that we can actually learn how to not have the trauma response anymore and find a response that serves our highest good. And then also having community helps us look forward to something as well. And I think that that's really important too.
Yes, yes, yes. I mean, having the support is huge because, I mean, everybody else just thinks you're going crazy or something, right? I mean, like people that don't understand what you're dealing with. I know, like when my wife Deb was going through one of the big awakenings. She was one of those where you're feeling the energy all day, and you're like, "Oh, I'm getting fried all day long," and
Yeah.
like really intense. You can't even go outside anywhere. You can't go anywhere. Can't do it. Kind of can't do much because you're just too sensitive. Everything's way overloaded on your system. So
Yeah.
um you know, some people just, well, you're just anxious. Maybe you need some pills or, like, I mean, like mainstream would think more like that, right? Whereas, you have a guide, somebody that understands the type of things that the sense of not all, we don't know. I always say we don't know anything like at the one level, right? But they kind
No.
of understand what they're dealing with at least, right? If we've experienced it and, we've navigated ourselves and help others. So, the fact that you're a person that can be there to help them and you have community to help with that is extremely valuable. I mean, that's means everything, to people that are in that position, right? Where they're just flopping around like, yeah, that fish out of water. And because like you're in a life and you're like, I'm certain I'm doing this, and all of a sudden you have this big awakening. You're like, I don't know anything anymore, and I can't do anything. Like I literally can do nothing, right? So,
Yep.
how do you help orient? Because literally, that was a conversation with this person the other day, for example, right? Like she's like, I can't do anything. I says, Yep, that's the way it works. Like, so what do you recommend for people when they say like, man, I try to come up with new plans, I start trying to do new things, and like I just literally can't. It's like I just can't do anything. Nothing computes.
So there's a couple things that I recommend. One is what has your heart been guiding you to do and you haven't done it yet? Because
Mm,
your heart usually is telling you something. Your inner essence, your soul is like guiding you towards something. And for me, anytime I'm in a dark place, I'll stop and I'll pause and I'll go, what have I been wanting to do and I haven't done it? And for me, the first time was I've been being guided to do hot yoga and I kept ignoring the message. And finally I was like, let me just Google this. And so I Googled it, and there was a brand new hot yoga studio that opened up right down the road from my house. And I went there, and it was like the most amazing thing I ever experienced. And then when I went through another bit of depression where I moved, I cracked my tailbone for the second time. I wasn't able to practice yoga. Like I moved away from home, so I didn't have my normal friends and community. I was transitioning out of a different career, thinking I was going to go into one thing, and then I couldn't get in there. And so there's this huge identity crisis that's happening. And so I stopped and paused and I asked myself, because I could feel myself going into a deep dark hole again, and I didn't want to crawl my way back out. And it was, what has my heart been wanting me to do and I haven't done it? And that was meditating. Like I wanted to learn how to meditate and I wanted to learn how to do dream interpretations. And I got a reading from a woman that had channeling abilities like Edgar Casey. And at the end of it, I was telling her, I'm like, I really like, I have these bad dreams. I want to learn how to do that. And she goes, I teach that. I teach how to meditate and I teach how to do that. It was like the perfect synchronicity of I found the right person exactly at the right time. And sometimes that's what you need. Like we have information overload now where we can take advantage of all sorts of different information that's available to us that's free, just like this podcast, right? We can educate ourselves in such a way that we can take advantage of these things. And sometimes we got to pay for support. Sometimes it's like a combination of many different things. And so it's follow the energy, and your heart will not guide you in the wrong direction because there is something that your beingness has been telling you, like your higher self has been telling you, like this is the next big step in our evolution. And are you willing to take the leap of faith to do it? And usually, when you say yes, all sorts of bigger things open up for you, magical doors open up.
Do you want to meditate and make money? Let it be simple. Let it be easy. Let it be fun. Go to yoursacredpurpose.com and get your free meditate, make money meditation today.
Now, what if someone's sitting there saying, "I know what it is," or they're saying, "But I have a 20 things that comes to mind to follow from my heart." How do you advise people on that?
Stop and pause, like, because yeah, because there are people that are like, I can do this and 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 this, and then they're like, wait, because sometimes that just creates overwhelm, which then creates avoidance, and it is the ego's aspect or the mental body that is playing into old patterning to create overwhelm, to create avoidance, to create and stop you from making progress. And so narrow it down to three things. What would be the three things that would bring me joy immediately?
Mhm.
And out of those three things, what is the easiest thing for me to take action on right away?
Mm-hmm.
and keep momentum going.
See, that's always a good reminder for me because, like that's the thing. Like I find I'm definitely one of those excitable people, although I'm grounded enough not to just take action on everything, like I'm not that person at all. But I do get, I feel like I've shut down a lot of my creative potential simply because I get disappointed that I know I can't do all these things. Like, so it's like I may as well not keep getting all these ideas. What's the point? Like, I mean, it's good for my clients if I'm trying to help them, I suppose, but like to try to take action on it for me individually is crazy, right? So that's helpful actually when you say, well, you can break it down to three and all that kind of thing, and like what's going to raise your vibration the most. I mean, it's how I hear joy, right? Like what's
Mhm.
going to bring you the most joy. For me, like I think about that even this moment. I right at this time I kind of get the idea of spaciousness, and I'm just like, okay, because I was just talking to Deb about that today. I said, man, I'm getting really busy at times lately, and it's great to some degree, but then I'm like, it's too much. I need more spaciousness. So
Oh, for
I think it's
sure.
like correct, right? Like it's okay. Now I need to, balance that, so to speak. It's like this constant, for people that are not in this massive awakening, for the rest of us, it's like these constant, adjustments that we're constantly making, right? I mean,
For sure. And I think that sometimes it's really important to two things from a business perspective. And just because you're spiritual doesn't mean you can't make money. Like I'm a big believer in that we can make money, and I'm just being guided to share this book with you, Daniel, because I think it would be really helpful in the way that
yeah,
you're thinking about things. And
right.
that is 10x is easier than 2x.
Yeah, I've got the book. I've listened to the audio book and I got the written book.
That's even more funny. And
I'm
so
reading it right now. I'm reading it right now. So yeah.
fantastic. I love it. And sometimes, and the reason why I'm bringing this up, and I think that this is really important, is sometimes we're constantly just trying to 2x our experience. And that could be money, that
Right.
could be business, that could be just in general in our life. We're trying to 2x it. Take a step back and you think completely differently when you're trying to 10x it versus 2xing it, because 2xing it takes a tremendous amount of work.
Yeah.
10xing means I have to take a step back and be someone who I want to be way down the line and start thinking like that being now, instead of trying to put out a million fires to 2x your experience versus 10xing it. And it's
Mhm.
focusing on things that allow you to 10x versus focusing on things that only give you 2x. Because 2x has 20 more things attached to it versus 10x.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. Like I said, I read the book today. I was reading the book again today. So I mean, this morning. So I just love the synchronicity of everything, right? I mean, it's just so perfect. So I've always had these big desires and dreams, and great things have happened. I have manifested some wonderful things, but not the biggest visions at all yet. So, in my opinion, even though I've impacted thousands of people, all this, whatever, lots of people, at the same time, I feel like, sort of scratching the surface. So, yeah, we can't get there from the way we've been approaching it so far and all that. And so I think, like, in so many ways, that's true right now, especially like people are being kind of forced to evolve in this rapid way, or are, again, your quality of life is probably going to keep going down rather than up. So you have to get into the for me, it's the spaciousness is where it starts, at least. Like you have to,
Yeah, absolutely.
for me it's almost, I probably need to make it number one in my life, because but my 2x brain, using that terminology, would say, "There's no way in hell you could do that. You got shit to do." Like, right. You're never gonna make any money. You're gonna be homeless if you start doing that. Right, right.
Aww.
No, I don't literally have those thoughts like in a,
No, I know, but
but I know I could feel that energy. Right. You
there
can.
it's subconscious. It's
Right.
subconscious,
Exactly.
and you don't know what you don't know, right? And I think that sometimes in terms of just even the way that we evolve, sometimes people take the long way around, and that's similar to what we're talking about in terms of 2x. It's like busyness is is a problem. Busyness is an epidemic. Like, I think that we have so many tools and things at our fingertips and technology and phones, and we're just constantly connected. And there is space and time that is required to just breathe and to just be and to just give yourself permission to feel all of your energy and not be intruded upon with the electronics, not be intruded upon with the to-dos. And the more that we give ourselves permission to have that spaciousness, especially the people that are going a million miles an hour. And I get you, because I'm that person too, where it's like, I have to put in built in spacious days and times and time blocks, because if I don't, I will fill it with something. And so knowing yourself well and knowing what your coping behaviors are and knowing what your normal response is during busier times is really crucial and important to offset the normal coping behaviors that get one into trouble.
Right, right, right. I mean, yeah, having those planned times, because I think what for me, when I just think about like, yeah, like literally making decisions on the spot, like, I think this is good for everybody. Like they're making their own decisions right now, right? As they're tuning into this conversation, it's like, okay, then where, because I've been saying, like, if I could just allow myself to have some more evening time to just not have anything to do, because some people are like, watching TV is stupid, it's horrible for you or whatever. And for me, I like watching certain programs or whatever, whatever you want to call them, shows. And for me, it's relaxing. I spend time with Deb doing it, and it actually is rejuvenating. I could meditate, I mean, that'd be fine too, but I like it, and so it's like, okay, can you even give yourself to start with one more evening to do that or whatever, like just so, because have had that before. I've been, I've had all different, experiences in my life, but it's like, okay, maybe I need to start opening that up again. So it's okay, or maybe it's something that if we're 10xing it, it's like, yeah, but if we were to start from like a clean slate, then how would you create your perfect scenario? Like, which is probably where I need to start, right? So I mean, because the 2x is more like, where can we only tweak it? So where can I just get this little change? 10x is like, all right, we're starting from scratch again and again. All right, we're that's how I see it. I don't know if you look at it that way, but like,
Yeah. So I think, I love watching YouTube videos at nighttime. Like, it's one
yeah,
of my favorite things to do. I like watching it on TV. I don't like watching it on my phone.
I do
I
that
take
too.
notes. It's my time where I'm doing research, and my research is all sorts of different things that I'm researching, from health to mindset to business. Like, I really enjoy doing that. And I can't do that during the day while I'm doing my other things for my business. And so
Right.
I think that sometimes it's all about how are you spending your time and can you be honest about it. And so I think that if you're spending 5 hours a day scrolling on your phone, and then you're spending 4 hours on TV, that's a lot of time where that's
Right, right, right.
wasted. And so I think that sometimes when we hear these things, it's the question is can I do an inventory of my time? And can I be really brutally honest? Because what happens is, even when you start to do an inventory of your time where you're tracking every minute of your day for a week,
Mhm,
you start
mhm.
making different decisions.
Right,
Immediately, you start making different decisions because you're putting that on your sheet and you're like, whoa, I,
right, right.
maybe
Yeah,
shouldn't be doing that. And like I too, I'll get caught in a bubble where I'm replying to Facebook posts for my programs, and then I'll get stuck in a loop where, like, I've watched a couple videos that I'm like, okay, I've been on here longer than I should. And so then I have to, what I found that's really helpful is timers. Like, I'll set timers when I'm on social media and things like that, just so that offsets that. But I think that the thing is no matter what you're doing, it's important to just be honest on what is your consumption rate. What's your consumption rate? And are you consuming the things that help you? Or are you consuming the things that numb you
Right.
or are a detriment to your growth? And that's the thing, because I think consuming educational videos and things like that is so helpful. I love listening to podcasts on my way to dropping off my daughter off at school, and it's great. Like it's a great way to research and to learn, and I thoroughly enjoy it.
Right, right. Likewise. I mean, for whatever people think, I was listening to the Joe Rogan show with they're talking the ET stuff and all that, and that's all part of like what was like. Then like when I get open, I've been more open, more ungrounded at times like recently, and so like when that starts happening, like it's cool in that I can perceive things like in a profound, deep way, like, but it can overwhelm me then, like if I'm
Yeah.
so it's just like I'm hear too many their voices right now, like their so-called ET voices. Like I hear all of you. No, this is too much. And again, if I were to say that years ago, right? All right, we got someone for you to talk to. And so now it's funny. I feel safe to say that. I mean, because again, I always tell my
Yeah.
psychiatrist as a teenager, I said I can move objects, I can blow things up and all stuff. I had never done it yet, but I just knew I could do stuff. And
Yeah, you had faith.
yeah, and they're just like, yeah, all right, here's your pills. I mean, that's what happens. So, I mean, but my point is like, yes, it stimulates you in ways that just people might be like, well, that's not a good use here. But maybe there's something I'm gaining when I'm watching that action adventure movie too. Like there may be some dynamic in there that's important to. So I think that's too much judgment, sometimes. Like you're right. You have to be honest with yourself. Like you could be just kind of getting caught up in some energy that's not really productive for you. But, if you feel like, because when we look for things to watch, we're always tuning in. We're like, oh, yeah, we're supposed to watch that. Right. So it's
Yeah.
like things. And then that frequency is like what you're being guided to is it's part of your, keep it in the context of the sacred awakening, right? It's all part of your, I don't know if you would say this, but it's kind of part of your sacred awakening, I suppose. I mean, it's part of your path.
I think that what you're consuming either impacts you in a negative way or a positive way. And so could consume the things that help and let go of the ones that don't. I remember like having a conversation with my husband. We were watching a particular TV series or I don't even remember what kind of series it was, but we were talking about it when we were on vacation that we were watching this series and we both felt awful watching it because it just like for me it just brought up a lot of like old childhood trauma that I already worked through, and so just the energy of watching the show just didn't feel good to me, but I was just doing it to watch it with my husband, and like he felt the same way. And so that's the thing, it's a detriment for us to watch it versus consuming something that allows us to grow and think and act differently.
Right.
And so what does that look like? And then as far as like the ETs, I like calling them galactic beings. We have guides and spirit guides and masters, teachers, and loved ones that are always trying to get our attention, and they can get our attention through different means. And sometimes it's through meditation, sometimes it's through synchronicity. I remember my first teacher, the same one that I was talking about earlier, that gave me a reading. She goes, we are going to be able to talk to galactic beings, light beings through our computer. And it's happening. Like we are doing that. And it's insane to actually think about because like at that time it felt so far outside of me because I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. But like looking back and doing all the things that I have done, like I was talking to angels when I was a little girl, and no one taught me to do that. I just knew how to do it, and I knew that they were real and I could connect to them. And so, light beings and galactic beings, ET, whatever name you give them, like they are constantly communicating with us just like angels, and they want to support us. And then there are beings that don't want to support us that are
Right.
manipulative, and so you got to be mindful and aware of what and whom you're talking to.
Right. Yeah, and the thing is to realize that there is a realness to it, always. I mean, I think like some people probably because we both do trainings, right? I mean, you train with Akashic Records, reading stuff, and I do energy scanning so people can tune in to other people's energies and chakras and all this stuff, and to help them overall, but to do healing and get new clients and all this sort of thing. And because often people say, "Well, I just feel like this isn't even real what I'm perceiving. Like it's just kind of there." And is it real? I don't know. I'm like, well, ask them. Tell them what you're picking up on. See what happens. Sure enough, it's real, right? Yeah, that's true.
For sure.
Right. And so that, because sometimes people often think of many levels, like these kind of, you get a visitation, you get a download, you get whatever, and you're like, part of you says, that thing happened, it's real. But sometimes you're thinking, well, was it real? And it
Mhm.
kind of, yes, the answer is yes. It's as real as anything else. I mean, it's for real. So, because I've had, of course, all these experiences too, and in my own way. And so, I mean, just realizing there's something real to it, because a lot of times, like with kids, for example, we just say, well, it's just your imagination. It's not a real thing. I believe it was probably a real thing. A lot of things, not the boogie monster maybe in the closet, but you know what I mean? Like a lot of these things are more real than we realize, is what I've noticed over the years. Yeah.
There's something really beautiful about feeling seen, feeling heard, and validated.
Mm-hmm.
Like validating your experience is so crucial. And I think that one of the reasons why I love the Akashic Records so much is the guardians of the records always assist you from a place of non-judgment. And you feel seen, heard, and validated when they are speaking to you. They sometimes don't take your side on things. Like, and what I mean by that is like, let's say, if you are having a hard time with someone, anybody, it could be a romantic partner, platonic relationship, whatever, you can go in there and like, hey, I'm having a hard time communicating my feelings. Can you tell me how to do that? And hey, can you offer me alternative perspective to this situation? And sometimes they're going to offer you that perspective and they're not shaming you, they're not punishing you. They're going to offer you perspectives
Mm-hmm.
that you may not have considered that allow you to see the person, the situation in a completely different light so that you can react in a place of wholeness. And
Mm-hmm.
it's really, really powerful. And for anybody that doesn't know what the Akashic Records are, it's a field of infinite possibilities. It's like a Google database of your soul, and every word, deed, thought from the moment your soul is incepted is recorded in the Akashic field. And we can open the records and speak to the masters, teachers, and loved ones to receive love and guidance and support. And they want to support you in evolving and having a self-discovery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I just look at it as like it's all there. It's always all there.
Yeah.
I don't get into the terminology as much as like I'm just like everything's there. It's always there, and it's just a matter of what you're paying attention to, right? We're all infinitely connected to all of it, and it's just like, well, let's open a window over here. It's just like it is. You're right. It's like kind of like the Google or whatever, only way better. I mean, it's like we can dial in any. I always say, guys, don't worry about these physical technologies too much now. Literally any physical technology, we're the space and energy behind the technology. I mean,
Yep.
so we're the awareness behind the technology. So literally, if we were threatened by if truly and we truly didn't want to see something happen that we're threatened by, we literally just can shift the consciousness and we're fine, right? So it's like, but people don't realize that yet. So it's one of my desires is to keep educating people on that because they don't realize really who they are yet. Even people are more awoken, right? They don't fully recognize some of these things. So I know, like at some point, like I know we were talking about. I know one of the ways we can do it. I know you do light language
Mhm.
stuff, right? You're master of like light language and everything. And so tell us about light language if you could, because I'd love to experience. You said about something about
Yeah.
communication and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So light language is the cosmic language of your soul. When you receive light language in the different forms that you can receive it in, which is spoken, written, symbols, and movement, it assists in breaking you out of trance because we're in many different trances. And so it assists with breaking you out of trance, and it moves past the conscious mind to the subconscious mind. And it's like your higher self is going, hey, pay attention. Hey, wake up. Hey, this is what it is. And I came about light language because there were things that as a channeler, there were no human words that could describe things that were wanting to come through. And the guardians of the record started encouraging me, like, hey, it's time to speak light language. Hey, it's time to speak light language. I'm like, I don't want to do that. That's the weirdest thing ever. Like, I already think it's weird. And they're like, no, just try it. Just try it. So I started doing it on my own. And then when I started doing it on my own, I'm like, wait a second. I used to do this when I was a kid. And I used to speak this with my sister, and we had our own language. We knew exactly what each other was saying. And it was so familiar and it was so neat and it felt so at home. And that's a lot of times what I have clients that will tell me, like, that just, I felt at peace. Like, I felt at home. Like, it feels so familiar. And not all light language is the same, because light language, we tune into different radio stations. And so we're basically tuning into the radio station that has, for lack of better words, galactic light beings that are supporting us to bring in frequency. And so you don't want to tune into the wrong station. You want to make sure you're tuning into the right station that's supporting your frequency and where you're going next, and unscrambling the trance and assisting you in breaking free and moving into the frequency that you're meant to be in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I mean the galactic stuff, honestly, there was a resistance for me too. Like there has been. I don't think there's a real resistance now, like in terms of like a hard resistance or anything. It's just sort of like I haven't really delved into it, but I'm getting more interested in it now, right? In the past, people were like, yeah, I'm galactic light and everything. I'm like, cool. I'm totally for whatever you're doing, and it still seems a little strange to me if I was being honest about it. Like I was being totally honest. Like I'm like, oh, I don't know. It seems kind of strange still to me. And recently with some of my other guests, like Susan Kennard came on, and she was talking about the galactic stuff too, and she helped me with some of that too. She's just like, oh, I just think it's this resistance or whatever, and started helping me to release some of that. But you said you felt like there's something maybe that I'm needing to receive. I said, I'm hearing all these ET voices in my head today, and it's just kind of overwhelming. And he says, well, I think maybe we could do a meditation today for the listeners,
Yeah.
and you might help. So can we do something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's theme it. So
Okay.
let's clear resistance. Let's
Mm-hmm.
clear overwhelm and invite in clarity and invite in really big roots into the earth and into our human experience. And they really wanted me to emphasize big roots into the earth, because if you want to expand, if you're wanting to connect with higher levels of frequencies, higher levels of consciousness, you still need to be rooted in the human experience, because your human body is a part of that experience, and you want to be careful not to hurt yourself. And so having those deep, big roots is really helpful for that. Is there anything else you want to add to it?
No, I mean, that's so true. I just wanted to say that that's true, right? That's the part I wanted to add, is just to double down what you're saying. I'm like, yes, you have to still be grounded, because I did. I mean, for a long time, I used to just walk around and be like, if you were to meet me like, 15 years ago or whatever it was, I'd be like, Amy, I see ETs and you are an ET and blah blah. I would just start telling you everything I saw about you, and I'd just be like floating around, but I was like ungrounded. I'd just be telling everybody stuff like that I thought would listen to me. And but I was ungrounded, so I had to learn the grounding part, which I feel I've done a pretty good job with. And then you can always do better, but like, now, because you're right, you can't sustainably, go to these higher frequencies if you don't have a certain level of stabilization, 100%.
Yeah. Stabilization's a great word. So for anybody that's listening to this, do not drive or operate heavy machinery. People do fall asleep, so we want to always practice safety. I'm gonna take a sip of water really quick.
Sure, sure.
And When you're ready, go ahead and close your eyes, bring your awareness into your heart space. Receive a breath, taking a nice deep breath in through your nose, exhaling out, feeling your grounding cord start to root into the earth. Taking another nice deep breath in, exhaling out. And your grounding cord is going to root all the way down, down, down through all the layers of the earth, where there's a crystalline ball of energy in the center of the earth. And you're going to plug your grounding cord into that crystalline ball of energy, which is Gaia, Mother Earth's heart chakra. And I want you to feel your grounding cord expand in width. So it's getting wider and wider and wider. And Gaia, Mother Earth, is infusing energy into your grounding cord, up through your grounding cord and into you. I want you to take another nice deep breath in, cleansing breath out, feeling your energy settle into your heart space. And notice, sense, feel, or imagine Mother Earth, Gaia, wrapping her energy around you like a cozy blanket. And as you're noticing that, I want you to sense, feel, see, or imagine that there's a beautiful golden sphere above your head. That sphere is going to start to spin. This is source, creation, God, universe, energy, whatever sacred title you give that sacred frequency. It's going to start to spin, and as it starts to spin, it's going to start to spiral into the crown of your head. It's going to start to clear out, cleanse out any mind chatter, any mental loads that are just keeping your mind busy, active, that are not necessary to keep in play. And I want you to feel, sense, or imagine with that source energy, creation energy, that there's these beautiful light codes that are coming into the mind, into that funnel, and they're cleaning out the debris, cleaning out the thoughts, cleaning out the patterns, cleaning out the loops that don't serve your highest good, that are keeping you stuck, that are keeping you in overwhelm, keeping you in avoidance. You can fill in the blank. However they're not serving you, they're going to clean them out. And I want you to feel, sense, or imagine that they're scanning through all the neural pathways and they're cleansing, cleaning, cleansing, cleaning, cleansing, cleaning, cleansing, cleaning. Sono mutri atrasinin to kuna matur kapura si pugrunu kamuku hahara sinuru mataha. Sono karimate si truha troha troha. And then I want you to feel, sense, or imagine that there's a lapis lazuli coming in. This is a crystalline energy that has blues and golds and whites in it. And it's just moving through, moving through, moving through, moving through, moving, cleaning, cleaning, cleaning your third eye, cleaning, cleaning, cleaning your third eye, cleaning, cleaning, cleaning your third eye. And then I want you to feel that there's even like these light codes that are moving through the third eye down into the throat chakra, cleaning up the throat chakra to help you speak your truth, to help you share the thoughts and the words and the verbiage, the frequencies, the sounds that actually serve you in the highest way, in the highest potential, and that they're cleaning out anything that's in there that doesn't serve you. So I want you to feel these frequencies going in there. And then I want you to feel, sense, or imagine that there's this beautiful column of energy around you. And this column of energy is golden. It's golden. And as it's golden, it's cleansing and clearing your auric field, your quantum radius, and it's extracting any confusion, any overwhelm, anything that doesn't belong to you, that does belong to you, that doesn't serve the highest good. It's cleansing, cleaning, cleansing, cleaning, cleansing, cleaning. And as it's cleansing and cleaning, I want you to sense, feel, see, or imagine that these light codes are coming in. And as these light codes are coming in, creation, God, universe, whatever sacred title you give that being, is going to start to share or download a message for you. That message you may receive at this moment in time, or you may receive it at a later time. And I want you to just feel the energy infusing. And then I want you to just be receptive to download or receive that message. And then creation is going to place a mirror right in front of you. It's a big full-length mirror. And that mirror is going to reflect back to you your beautiful whole frequency, meaning you are whole, you are sovereign, you are 100% complete. You are intact. You are not fractaled. You are not scattered. You are not in many places. All of your energy is being shown to you intact, in wholeness. And you might not even look human. I want you to notice your reflection in the mirror. It might even be a color or a hue to it. And then I want you to tap the mirror 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And then the image is going to change. And as the image is changing, there's a word that's going to appear on the mirror. This word has a very high level frequency to it. And then the visual in the mirror is going to change. And then there's going to be an animal spirit guide that wants to come through. That's going to be in the mirror. There may be more than one. They're going to share a message with you. You're going to tap the mirror again. And then this time, your higher self is going to be there, and your higher self is going to download a message, or it's going to share a message with you in this moment in time. Receive that message or download. You're going to take another nice deep breath in, cleansing breath out. The mirror will fade. And then you're going to return back into your heart space. And then I want you to wiggle your fingers and your toes, bowing your chin in towards your chest. And then slowly blinking your eyes open, taking your time coming back to. Breathing, feeling the edges of your body, deepening your breath. Some of you might feel like you went all the way out into outer space. Some of you might have had a hard time with this, and you can always re-listen to it, but just take your time. How are you feeling?
I feel good. It was really helpful. I feel the grounding, and yeah, all kinds of fun things are happening during the meditation. So it's good. I saw myself as like a 5-headed dragon or something or whatever. I had that one of the spirit animals. So I guess I saying me, but whatever. Um, then yeah, I was seeing bunnies. I was seeing, yeah, I don't know. I got a lot of thoughts too that feel guided. I don't know. Like you're here transmuting like the reptilian energy into the higher frequency energies for the planet right now because I've been in those reptilian energies. Now I'm transmuting those right now or what I just
You
things
have
that
a
I would
lot.
normally be considering, like, oh yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense. And I so yeah, a lot of cool stuff. A lot of message I get because I get my daily messages from Jesus. He's always saying peace, peace. Love a lot too, but like peace has been the bigger one lately because
Yeah.
I've been busier lately. So I was like peace, peace. So today he says, "Wait a minute, dude, you're talking peace. I've heard it's enough for right now. Tell me more about this because I don't know. I'm not experiencing the level of peace that I sense that you're pointing to, and so I don't know what to do about that. And so like then I don't know and I don't always remember what he said, but whatever he says is like a transmission, right? Then you get the transmission, you're like, oh, I get it, all right, like. That's always a
I'll
good.
stop talking. I'll just receive.
Right. But it's good to voice your frustrations every once in a while
I think
because
so.
yeah, because it helps transmute that, right? It's like,
Yeah.
okay, all right, yeah, all right,
The
good.
humanness.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
And
that's
then
really wonderful. I really love that. It's not like any other meditation I've experienced in terms of like the way you did it. So, I really appreciate it a lot. So thank you. It was really
you're so
wonderful. Yeah.
you're so welcome. And since we're recording, what I would suggest doing is re-listening to it on its own, just when you're in your own space and not
Sure,
thinking
sure,
about
sure.
recording and things like that,
Sure.
because I think you'll get some more things from it too.
Right. Yeah, because I got a part of my third eye is on the show, right? Like, okay, so definitely will. Now I know the light language and everything. Now is that galactic language? I mean, how do you see the light language stuff?
It's
If you
definitely
could.
galactic
Mhm,
because it's a part of our cosmos. Like
mhm.
there, I read in it's called the Book of Enoch or
Yeah.
the Keys of Enoch.
Okay.
And there was a passage in there, and I'm searching for it in my brain right this second, where they talked about light language and why it was so important. And that was when I really was like, okay, I got it. Like,
Mhm,
because in order for us to transcend, we have to be able to speak to the beings that are supporting us in the transmission and to understand them. And there are no human words sometimes that can describe those things. And light language is similar to speaking in tongue. And
mhm,
so we are transmitting something and we're connecting with something. And, all of us are galactic in some way. So
mhm,
Jesus, everybody, like everybody's galactic in their own way. And so what does that look like as star seeds? Like, what does that look like? And can you give yourself permission to be in this human experience and tap into all of your galacticness? And what does that look like in terms of the chapter you're in is always going to evolve and change and be a little differently, but it's it's hard to describe for me like when I connect with light language and when my light language has changed a lot over the years, like it has morphed, it has changed, it has evolved, and my understanding of light language has evolved as well. And the more that I do it, the more that I know like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And even like when I was first sharing it, I was like, people are gonna think this is so insane.
mhm.
And I remember doing it at a live event. I was hosting a retreat, and they're like, no, we want more of it. Like, we want more. And I was like,
Right,
really?
exactly.
Like, because it just feels really different and it feels really good. And there's just something really special about it because every movement, every sound, every symbol holds paragraphs of information that your higher self completely understands. Your human brain doesn't have to understand it, but your higher self knows how to use the information and knows how to take it and use it in a way that supports your evolution.
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly. I mean, I've done light language too because it's just like whatever comes through, let it flow. Is how I see it. So, so I've done it too at times, but so yeah, I just look at it as a frequency type of thing, right? Oh, this is the frequency that wants to transmit and all that kind of thing, and so yeah, really cool. Well, we could keep you for hours, but we won't today. I know that you have really, you've got a really great Facebook group. I mean, it's like a real Facebook group, like a real community, lots of good teaching and stuff that you have in your group. So I'd love for people to check that out if you want to tell them anything about that. And then I know you have some other things coming up.
Yeah.
Want to tell them about that as well.
Yeah, so if you go to my website, theamyrobeson.com, You can also go to theamyrobeson.com/masterclass. That will take you to our free 10-day event that's coming up. It's the Soul Evolution Masterclass series. It's absolutely free. It's online. We're talking about the Akashic Records, your soul lineage, ancestral lineage. We do a bunch of healings that have light language in them as well. So if you want to check that out, and you can just go to my main page, which is theamyrobeson.com, which is TheAmyRobeson.com. And we have other free things as well. And I have a podcast. It's called Awakening with Amy Robeson. Our Facebook group is called Awakening with Amy Robeson. The cool thing about my Facebook group is, one, we're always doing something in there. And two, I have a lot of my Sacred Awakening students that are getting certified. So they're offering readings and things like that. And so there's just tons of stuff that's happening, because the whole reason why I want to start a business was to have a community. And having the Facebook group was one of the ways that we are able to do that, because all social media is so different from each channel. And I think the one thing about Facebook is having the Facebook groups are the most amazing things. So yeah, so if you want to check that out, I can also give you the link, Daniel, if you want to put it in the show notes or something.
Sure, we can put it in the show notes. Yeah, absolutely, guys. And it's a great way to intersect with people. I don't know what the parameters are in there anymore, but I know, like, you can actually share some things in there, like share of yourself. And for businesses, every once in a while you could promote, I think, and at least historically you could. And so there's a lot of fun connections and opportunities to be in the group and to learn, and obviously from and be with Amy. So, so all that good stuff. All right, so check it out, and then so we're at the point of the segment for the energy scan. So I think I've got a couple downloads probably percolating for you. Are you ready to receive?
Oh, I love it.
All right, here we go. Hey guys, again, these downloads, they may be for you too. They're messages you may need to hear as well. So let's just see what comes through. All right, let me just take a moment and just yeah, take a look. I mean, it's an interesting thing. I mean, like I just kept getting on the smell of the roses, smell the flowers, and so I just get this relaxation that I mean, I guess a lot of people might get it, but I get it for you, like this relaxation through senses, and but the smell came in really strong, and just this, like, it just helps to just like, like there's just this thing that happens for you, really profound. So anyway, just they wanted to remind you that apparently listen to all the messages to see, try to see what wants to be shared the most, right? So okay, yeah, I don't know. I got this like white witch kind of energy coming through. And again, I don't know. I'm not a person that's read on all these different subjects, but like I got a white witch. So you're like this powerful, yeah, the magic you talked about, and this in the magic that you bring. So there is a protective feeling around it, right? Like you're activating and protecting, like you're opening people up from like slave codes and stuff like that. Even though, yeah, I know you don't directly really talk about that, I don't think, but like, yeah, but I don't know, I get that feeling anyway. And I, so I think that the next thing I wanted to share is back what I said earlier. Like, I just strongly feel like there's this that the ET galactic component, like the more you step into that and the light language, the more you transmit this. This is probably something I need to hear too.
Yeah.
Like I need to go in this direction too. The more, like, everything's going to be so much more expanded and easier for all of us. Like the more we all do it, it's not just you, but like it is extra for you though, Amy. It really is, because you've been getting this message for a while, right? So like, you gotta just, it's like, again, it's another level of trust. Like, can I just trust to just like let this thing fly and just do the thing? And like, yes, just like,
Let's do
everything
it.
else. because I'm having the same thing sometimes with things that I get imagining doing. And it's like, oh, how will that connect with this in my business? It's always what the thoughts come to, right? And so it's like we have to realize an expansion of that, everything else will perfectly align, right? But we can't, get it in our minds first. We have to take the action, is what I'm reminding myself and you and everybody of. You don't always, doesn't always make sense at first, but you have to take the action. So I don't know. So that's what I just get to share with you today. So what are your thoughts and reflections on what was coming through?
Thank you. Two couple things. One is I have these rose incense that I absolutely love. They like light my soul on fire whenever I smell them, and they're literally like I'm just like it makes me feel so good. And I've been meaning to burn them. Like if I burn them every day, I always feel better. So I will definitely do that. So thank you for that. And the white witch thing, I think that's it's more of like, the work that I'm doing to heal. Yeah, the work that I'm doing to heal the witches' wounds. Because there's so many witches' wounds out there that people were persecuted and things like that. In previous lifetimes, and so we're like clearing those out. And then with the DNA work and with the light language, it's like this we gotta clear out, and use the word enslavement codes, but that is similar to what that is. It's like these seals and these encodings that keep us enslaved, and what does that look like? And so
Right.
clearing those out. So, and then we talked about the galactic stuff ahead of time too, so spot on with that. So thank you.
All right, cool. So, guys, you've got to double down and absolutely, get on the train of being connected with Amy. I want to keep connecting deeper with her, with her work and her energy and whatnot. But because like you could feel the frequency, right, guys? So take advantage of that. If you also want to connect more with me, you know where to find me on the podcast, but you also go to yoursacredpurpose.com. I've got a free meditate, make money meditation. If you've been hesitating at grabbing that gift, if you've been listening to the show, you better grab it today because it'll open you up. It'll transmit maybe your next $1 million idea or something, because it just really does. It really opens you up. Definitely people are gaining from that. So take a look at that, the free meditate, make money meditation on my site. I do, consults and readings and all kinds of things. And I give you lots of information, lots of information. So if you want to rock your sacred purpose, get the Rock Your Sacred Purpose energy scan consultation. If you're wanting to get into doing this work, or you're already doing it, you want to evolve further, take a look at your energy, a look at what you're considering for your business aspects, and we'll synergize it all. Okay, so you can check that out at yoursacredpurpose.com. All right. Yeah, I mean, I think. I just want to end with that. I just feel really grateful for Source Spirit bringing us together today. It was always right on time, and so I'm so grateful that we've connected today, and that you are here as a guest, that you've shared so generously today. Thank you so much, Amy.
Thank you for having me. This was so much fun, Daniel.
Okay. All right. And to all our listeners, keep on tuning in, and we'll keep on rocketing here at Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Till the next time. For listening to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, stay tuned for our next upcoming new episodes each Saturday. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review to help us to serve you best. As a reminder, you can get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation at www.yoursacredpurpose.com to rock your sacred purpose. Goodbye for now, everybody.